I was 6, I was 10, and I was 14. How old were you when the most important people in your life made the biggest impact on you? Do you remember? If not, don't worry. That probably just means it hasn't happened to you yet. During these times, I was an extremely unaware and innocent child. I didn't realize that these times were so important to me, but now looking back on them, these memories are what shaped my life and made me the person that I am today. My family is crazy. That's literally the first word I think of when I think about my family. Honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. Although my family is small and I don't spend as much time with them as I would like to, family is extremely important to me. And every time we finally get the opportunity to reunite, it is always an adventure. I know you all probably hear your friends say that their family is crazy, but when I say it, I mean it. And although there have been so many amazing memories that we have shared together, there also have been many times we have had to wipe the tears off of each other's faces. I look up to many members of my family, but I have to say there are a few male role models in my family whom I specifically look up to and make me really think about my life in a new perspective. It was 10 days before my 11th birthday. I could tell something was different about my parents. They were not the happy, cheery parents whom I would spend fall evenings with after school. They were stressed, they were anxious, and they were sad. I ran in, excited and giddy, to one of my close friends, Katie's birthday party. We were going to make pizzas. I spent that crisp Sunday night making pizzas with my friends, adding my selected toppings, and singing along to Hot and Cold by Katy Perry on the radio. Eventually, one by one, all the other girls' parents started picking them up. All the moms and dads would talk to each other, say their thank yous, and off my friends would go. Finally, all the girls left, and I was the last person there. While waiting for my parents, I remember thinking to myself, well, this isn't a surprise. After all, I did earn the most tardies in school every single year. You could say that my parents are not always the most punctual people. Finally, my parents arrived. It seemed kind of odd to me because both my parents came in to pick me up. I noticed my dad distracting me while my mom was talking to the birthday girl, Katie's mom, and thanking her for waiting for them. Katie's mom probably knew the devastating news before I did. It was Kevin. Kevin was one of my older cousins that I'd always looked up to. Most of my other cousins lived far away in Texas or Pennsylvania, but Kevin was always close by. One of my most vivid memories I had with him was Easter before all this happened. I was in Naples, Florida, with Kevin, my mom, my dad, my Nana, and my papa. We were on the drive back from dinner. Kevin and I were stuffed in the back seat of the wagon car with my grandpa, Papa. Kevin and I were dreaming of our future plans with our family's company. We decided we would be the king and the queen of the company. He would work for a company jet as the company expanded under our watch to a worldwide corporate empire. At the time, I thought this was lame, since I was obsessed with golf carts and was going to strive for a family golf cart. He always helped my imagination grow and made sure I would dream big. After that night at my friend's birthday party, I found out my cousin had passed after being in a coma from a fatal car accident. I'm still not even sure the whole series of events, and I honestly have never really asked about them. In this moment in my life, I was really struck. This was the first time I could really understand what death did to people and the impact it had on others. From this, I learned many things, but the most important things I learned from this experience was to live every day like it's your last. Don't be afraid to love, laugh, and live life to its fullest extent, and most of all, dream big. When I was 6 years old, I was as clueless as every first grader. Unexpectedly, my parents told me they would be gone for 3 weeks. I asked them where they were going, and they said on a vacation. When I was 6 years old, my mom was especially amazing throughout this difficult period of time, as she has been throughout my entire life. While they were gone during the week, I would stay with my babysitter, Connie, who has been like a grandmother to me from a young age. And after, on the weekends, Connie would drive me over the bridge to Newport so I could stay with their godparents and their daughter, Tori. My mom would come back once a week, and she would always come back bearing presents and would take me to my absolute favorite places like Fantasyland or Build-A-Bear. My dad is the best person I know. He is an exact model of the kind of person I hope to be when I'm older. I want to be a hardworking person doing something I love that isn't just important to me, but is also important to my family. I want to be someone that has the respect of everyone I meet, just like my dad. I strive to be more like him every day. Even though my mom and I make fun of his quirks daily, We still love him more than anyone could imagine, and I think we make fun of him to the extent we do because in reality, we are jealous of the person he is, and we are especially jealous of the way others view my dad, as just a person with the kindest soul. Although he is forgetful, he still is the person that has made one of the biggest impacts on my life. Flash forward 6 years. Now I was 12, and it was spring break. I was staying in Florida with my parents at a hotel while my aunt, uncle, and cousins were staying at my grandparents' house. We had planned on going to a water park one morning, so the night before I thought it would be best to sleep over with my cousins so my parents wouldn't have to drive me over there in the morning. That's the night I found out. I found out that my dad was struggling with some serious health problems throughout my childhood years, and that's why he had vanished from my life for 3 weeks, which at 6 years old felt like a lifetime. Before I went off to boarding school, I went to a private day school 15 minutes away from my house in East Providence, Rhode Island. My dad would drive me to school every single day. Although sometimes he would get too caught up in his thoughts about work and forget to take the exit which led to school, most car rides were our opportunity to catch up. And this was due to the fact that my dad would come home very late from work during the week, and at which point I would either be rapidly trying to finish my homework or fast asleep. Every early morning, I would step out of his black car and onto the pavement of my school, as he would say, "Work hard, play hard, have fun." I can't recall one time he failed to remember to say those words to me. I still hear them each morning as I'm on my way to class. This was the most important lesson my dad has taught me throughout my life. My family is the perfect example for this lesson. We have all learned to have this balance. We have all learned that there's a time and place for work, play, and to have fun, and it is extremely important to fit all of these elements evenly into one's life. But these exact words have also been so important to me because that is what I have looked for in my boarding school, and it is exactly what I've been looking for in my next step in life, college. Now, when I was in 8th grade, my dad's side of the family decided to have a Christmas party as one last reunion in my grandparents' house before they were going to sell it. This was a pretty big deal to my family because my aunts, uncle, and dad all grew up in this house. I walked into the house on the cold evening of Christmas Eve. My family was all standing right there in the kitchen to greet me, my parents, and my dog Chapman. The one person I couldn't find was Pup-Up. I asked my cousins Charlotte and Elliot where he was, and they said he was spending some time in his study. My grandfather has always been the family man. He helped my mom find a place to live when she got out of college, and he made my dad the man he is today, and I could not be more grateful of him for that. He has always been such an important person to my entire extended family. But his kindness and love for others isn't just seen by my family, but also by all the communities he was a part of. Even today, he still greets people with a big smile and compliment. His presence and warmth fills through any room which he is in. I walked down through the kitchen, then through the dining room, through the foyer, where they had set 4 big tables for all of us to eat dinner, then down a few stairs, and as I turned right, I saw my grandfather on his green couch watching TV. I looked up to see How the Grinch Stole Christmas playing on TV. My little cousin Charlotte followed me. We walked in. "Hi, Pup-Up," I said, excited. "Hi, Molly," he replied. "It's Blakely," I said back defensively. I could tell he was embarrassed. Now, in his defense, I only have 2 other girl cousins, Charlotte and Molly, so I get how it could be a bit confusing. But this was the first time I had ever noticed anything different about my grandfather. Although I was clueless and unaware of what was happening, I still knew something was wrong. I spent the rest of the time in that study sitting on my hands and feeling extremely uncomfortable. After the incident, I never asked what was wrong with him. I just waited for someone to tell me. Finally, I got up the courage to ask, and I found out that my grandfather had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's way before I could even tell, in 2009. Through my grandfather, I've been educated on the importance of family. He silently preaches the value of one doing everything they can for their family to give their family the life and opportunities they never had. This is something that I see in action not only in my household, but throughout everyone's household in my family. We value this golden rule that my grandfather has constantly displayed. Family. Family can mean different things to different people. For me, family doesn't just mean a blood relation. My family is also my 7 best friends: Emma, Millie, Catherine, Callie, Emma, Addie, and Leah. Connie, my babysitter, my godparents and their daughter, Tori, my dog, Chapman, and everyone else who has cared for me the way I care for them. Again, as I said earlier, the word family to me means absolute craziness and chaos, but it also means devotion, love, compassion, and most of all, dreaming big not only for yourself, but for the ones you love and the people in your life that you have the opportunity to call your family. Thank you.